Hey, everyone. Dr. Kennard here with BigZebra.com. Um, we were just talking about burgers, right? And a few
Yes,
comments.
A&W burgers, which are pretty good.
You know, actually, I have bought. I'm sure you're wondering, everyone, how is this vegetarian going to be dealing with Thanksgiving? Well, I have a. I bought my vegetarian. I don't even know what it is. It's some kind of loafy thing with. I feel like I'm fingering the loaf now. It's filled with
Cold turkey, maybe?
It's tofu turkey. It's in kind of like this roll. There's stuffing in it. There's cranberry sauce in it. It comes with some vegetarian gravy. I got it over at Trader Joe's yesterday, maybe on Saturday. And Tobin's coming in. Hopefully, his internet will be. Hey, Tobin Templeman,
Hello, Tobin.
artist extraordinaire. How are you this morning, sir?
Oh, I've got to go listen to your new song. Did it upload properly?
It seems like it.
Yeah, it looks
It
like
Okay.
I
got a
got
pretty
it.
good response.
Yeah,
It's
I gave it a thumbs up.
awesome. Yeah, thank y'all for all the love that I have gotten from y'all. That
Got
it
some
was
kind of
awesome.
rave vibe going on there, right?
Yeah.
With lights, and I don't want to give it too far away. What's up, black female atheist?
Discombobulated. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay, I put it into my watch later, and I will watch it after the show.
Awesome.
It's good that you're promoting it, that you posted it on Facebook because that's how I found it. And yeah,
Actually, that's a good reminder. Everyone who's watching the show, maybe you could pop over to Tobin Templeman's channel and share his video on Facebook.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Facebook is just one of the social media platforms I use to promote my own stuff, at least.
Mhm.
I've actually been thinking about that. Like the polite way to promote yourself. Because
Yeah,
the other night, I wanted to share something, and I ended up going in Messenger, and I sent a video out to a bunch of people.
Mm.
But whenever I was first doing that, I was just intending to share it like I normally did. I
yeah.
noticed that the function was differently, and then after I started reading it and I sent it, I was like, oh, I just sent that to everyone like a private. Uh, I don't
A
know.
message. Yeah, I know what you're saying
Yeah,
because it's easy to rub people the wrong way, right?
Hmm.
I had a comedian do a private message me about buying a shitty comedy CD, and it's like one, and then I had to remind him who I am, and not sounding snotty, but I had asked him to work on one of his projects, and he rudely rebuffed me, and I'm like,
Mm.
dude, you're messaging me while you fucking shit in my mouth, basically, non-consensually. I just want to say
Mm.
that. And now you want me to buy your shitty CD? Go fuck yourself. It doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work like that.
Yes. The uh,
morning, John.
sorry, I lost track of what I was going to say. Over to you,
Well,
John
because of the
Hudson.
shitting in the mouth, is that it? Was that distracting? Was that a little
Yes.
distracting?
What didn't that happen on stage? Brass against, except it was P.
It was P. Yeah, there was a female singer who has since apologized for peeing on it was consensual on.
Yes, yes. Urologia is an honored tradition for bands.
Yeah.
I sort of wondered though that they've never gotten more publicity than they have with that. I'd never heard of them before.
Yep. Yeah. John Hudson, how are you, sir?
Very well. Very
I feel
well.
like since you're not so talkative, I'm thinking that you might be hungover. I don't know.
Uh, nah, not so much.
No. Okay.
Didn't you? Didn't
You
you have a
hold
music
you
gig
keep
there,
your
John Hudson?
you keep
Pardon
your
me?
secrets to yourself, John Hudson. I'm sorry, Big Zebra. What did you say?
I just said, didn't you just have a good music gig there, John Hudson?
A
Continuing
what?
the musical theme. You had a gig where you were going singing or something?
Oh no, it was a photo shoot.
Photo shoot. Okay, not a musical gig.
No,
Unless you were humming and whistling during the photo shoot.
Well, I'm always humming and whistling.
Well, there you go. That
So am
counts.
I, man. I am. I'll just start breaking into a tune, and my girlfriend's like, "Where did that come from?" It's like there's something always going on up here. Something always, and it just comes out every once in a while.
Mm.
What video was you talking about? The one that Tobin and Kendra did?
Yeah.
Yes.
Fucking, I hate dolls. But at least it didn't have clowns. I've been really tripping balls.
Hey,
So-
wouldn't that be a really great thing to do a song about dolls, clowns, and it's too old to talk about how you hate mime, but
Moms.
maybe it could use a sort of rhyming scheme and occasionally mention mimes because it rhymes with other things. You see, I'm such a great songwriter,
Oh yeah,
obviously.
right. You just
Clearly.
spitting out bars right there. Big
Actually,
Z.
I have written song lyrics. I'm not musical in the sense of playing an instrument.
Yeah, I took piano when I was a kid for about 6 years.
Mm.
My teacher had written a couple of Christian hymns.
Oh, I'm
And-
sorry.
Yeah, dude, it's not as much as I am. If I had a more competent teacher, maybe I would have been a little bit more interested in music. But I also had back problems too, so actually sitting upright
Mm.
for periods of time was painful.
My parents wanted me to learn how to play the piano, and I have broken fingers, and it's
Uh-huh.
just horrible.
Yeah, dude.
And I just don't fucking understand. I think they may have been insane.
Maybe. I remember the story about Beethoven, that his dad, who was, a lunatic, would put coins on this part of his hands because, when you play the piano, it's supposed to have a certain kind of form. You're supposed to arch your fingers in a certain way
Oh,
and place coins on these knuckles there to make sure that the knuckles stayed stable while the fingers were. I don't know if that's a myth or not. I should actually do some research. I remember seeing that on a documentary one time.
I heard a
That would
hilarious
be a
story
crazy
about
challenge.
Beethoven.
It would be a challenge. You're right, Tillman. Yeah.
Yeah, I know a story about Beethoven. Someone told him a ridiculous story that doesn't make sense, and it passed over through his filter, and so Beethoven believed it, and he went around telling everyone that in some part of Germany, so and so had invented a lamp that could make the blind see,
Mm.
and he was raving
What?
about it. Yeah, it was this lamp where if a blind person looked into it, they would regain their sight. And he went around telling everyone about this, and then he found out it was just a stupid story. And was very much
Beethoven was
embarrassed.
gullible, huh?
Maybe, yeah, and deaf.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think like I mentioned before, is that one of those important abilities to have is kind of like have the is to carry around your own, as Carl Sagan would call it, your own baloney detection kit, right?
Mm,
To be able to smell out bullshit when it comes your way.
mm. Yeah, I've fallen for some bullshit over the years and very much embarrassed by it.
Oh,
I once bought something from, that sort of as on TV, seen on TV type of companies,
Sure.
and it worked twice and then fell apart.
One, I just want to say, I'm always excited, not in a sexual way, but I'm always excited when I see John Hudson light up his pipe. Cool. I just want to say that.
I am excited sexually, and I'm not afraid to admit it.
If anything, I might just send John Hudson. You are on mute, sir. So I just want to remind you. So I think for Christmas, I might just send you one of those Sherlock Holmes hats, so you could wear that while you're smoking your pipe.
Mm.
You gotta have to get the cocaine yourself, because as we all know, Sherlock Holmes likes cocaine.
I don't like cocaine, just the way it smells.
Okay.
Which is a big deal if you're snorting cocaine up one's nose. If you don't like the smell, that's pretty hard.
That shit makes me highly irregular. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah. Well, you do age out of things, right? You do age out of certain activities. I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was actually driving. I was doing my job on Friday when the Rittenhouse verdict came in, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not surprised by the verdict. Not surprised by
No, when I heard that they had video evidence of people running at Rittenhouse,
Yeah.
I knew it was doomed. I mean, yes, he's an asshole who took an automatic or semi-automatic rifle to a Black Lives Matter protest for shooting an unarmed black man,
yeah.
and of course you got to defend, the community against that.
Well,
I mean,
you got to save that used car lot. That's what you have to do. That
He
Yes,
chose
yeah.
violence. He chose
Well,
violence.
Yeah, won't someone stand up for the used car industry?
that 2008 Corolla needs defending.
It's only got a little bit of rust.
Only a little bit, yeah.
I actually wrote a book on, it was called Awaken the Used Car Salesman Within.
That sounds fascinating and terrifying at the same time.
Yes. Well, it's sort of a cartoon book, funny illustrations with comments underneath.
Mhm.
And it's been out of print for a long, long time, which gives you an idea of how well it sold. But
well,
yes.
It turns out writing the book, especially today,
Mhm.
is only probably the least important. I'm going to go out there and actually writing the book is the least important aspect of being a successful writer. It's more about marketing and marketing. Yeah.
Well, it's an agonizing. I worked in publishing for many years, and there's this agonizing problem where, okay, so now you've got this book, and if it doesn't get reviewed,
Yeah.
well, then you can't possibly, you haven't made a dent in the marketplace.
Yeah.
Then you've got author events. So interviewing the author is a way to do it, but they don't interview people for fiction books. And so there are no reviews, no fiction. Then you have author events. So an author you may never have heard to is coming to your local bookstore, and typically no one gives a shit. So so the whole industry is kind of fucked. And I could tell you a million stories, but that is not the purpose of this little show.
My buddy Nathan Timmel, who's been on the channel a number of times, he's a comedian out in the in Iowa, but he travels all around. He wrote "We Are 100," and I read it, and he actually came on the channel to talk about the book. It's a well-written book, and it's very kind of hook. It's got a couple of good hooks to it. Nathan was an English major when he was in college, and he's hustled. He's he has hustled to sell that thing, and so I'm looking at his Facebook. He has 52 ratings, 5 stars. He has worked very hard on the book and then on promoting the book too. I think as writers or as artists, a lot of us don't realize that you got to spend at least as much, if not more, of your time and effort into promoting the work as you do into actually creating it, and that's tough to wrap your mind around.
Oh, life is about promotion, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, and no one's going to do it except for you most of the time.
That's why I started my mission of telling everyone I'm a delight. And
That's
now
true.
in the atheist forums, people say things like, "It's a delight to see you," and "It's been a delight having you here." And
Right.
so it's having an impact.
That's
It's
good.
ridiculous.
That's
but,
good.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I was hanging out with a couple of guys after the Freedom from Religion conference. I didn't go to the conference. I'm still not comfortable with being indoors for hours and hours and hours with masses of people. But I hung out at a pub afterwards, and with just a few of the guys, and we had a good time. And first time I met this one person, he goes, "So what do you do?" It's like, "Well, I do this thing on Patheos Non-Religious," and he goes, "I've never heard of you." It's like, "Yeah, you've probably seen my work and thought I'm an idiot, or if whoever wrote it is an imbecile, probably thought it wasn't funny. Or you've probably been exposed to it at one point or another."
Well, it's like
Well,
Oz and
to
them
be
guys.
honest with you,
What's that,
We're
John?
all in Austin this weekend for some freedom of religion. I think it was the same, that convention.
Freedom
Faithless
for-
Forum.
The Faithless
What's that?
Forum. The Faithless Forum was.
Faithless Forum. Okay. Yeah, I'm still not ready to go to anything that's, around that, group of people enclosed inside.
Yeah.
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 I have a hard enough time going out to eat. If I'm outside, it's cool.
Yeah.
I love it. I can deal with it. Just going inside, it just, I don't know.
Yeah. Especially with the cases going up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And isn't there a Delta Plus variant now? I think that's.
But I don't think it's a. I don't think it's pushing the needle into the red zone any more than it has been already.
Well, I
think
have
that-
a friend in the Netherlands, and they have like an 85% vaccination rate, and they have 20,000 new cases every day.
I think that. Yeah. Well, there's two things, and I'm going to say the things that you probably have already heard like a million times. It's all about getting your fucking booster shot. So we have to, redefine what does fully vaccinated mean. You know, if you're fully vaccinated, and if you got your shot a year ago, or 9 months ago, or 10 months ago, then are you really fully vaccinated at this point? If you only got your J&J, if you only got the Johnson & Johnson shot, and if you're past 2 or 3 months without a booster shot, you're not really vaccinated. So, yeah.
You see, in Europe, they could always give people who got their booster shot a free coupon to a legalized brothel as an incentive. But we can't do that in Canada or the USA, except in Nevada, I think.
I've heard of one strip club that was doing free lap dances, I think, for people.
Certain counties in
I'd
Nevada.
be one way to get them motivated.
Yeah.
Certain counties in Nevada. You can't in, like Clark County in Vegas. I know a little bit about prostitutes.
Excellent, John.
I've always been
Let's
about.
show us your pimp hand.
What?
Your pimp hand. You
Yeah,
don't know
pimp
pimp
hand.
hand?
I don't know that.
Oh, it's where you slap your.
I don't do that.
I just want to say that we here on the Laughing and Disbelief channel do not endorse violence of any kind.
No, but it can be funny. You know.
I'd receive a spanking. I'm not giving them though.
Yeah.
Okay.
I heard that Austria is actually going back under lockdown, and they're mandating vaccines after February 1st. Whole riots over the weekend.
Sorry, mandating sex scenes?
They are mandating vaccines. That's what they are.
Vaccines. Oh, okay.
Vaccines, yes,
That makes a lot more sense.
it does.
Yeah, it's some of the European countries are just saying, fuck it, get vaccinated. It's the law.
So Faithless Forum picks on Twitter show very few masks. I think they required vaccination to go to there. I know the Freedom from Religion Foundation, their conference required vaccines. I remember reading that. Well, Isabel G., that is you're right, it is an unpopular opinion. I'm not going to say you're wrong, it's an unpopular opinion. Isabel says, first doses in 4 countries should come before third doses in first world countries. I think that's, yeah.
My thinking is that we're now, for a long time, I felt we're now in a COVID world. And even if you had the perfect vaccine right now, and you manufactured it, gave it to everybody, and by the time you had vaccinated everybody, I think COVID would have mutated and still be infectious. Maybe not, it might not be as horrible as it is now, but I think we're always going to be having COVID around from now on. And we'll always need
COVID has
vaccines.
been around for a very long time. Prior
Sure.
to that, COVID problems have always kind of been with this, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's why they researched it so much even before COVID-19.
So a couple of things in the chat. What's wrong with J&J? J&J doesn't offer immunity as long as the mRNA vaccines. And you can just look that up.
J&J is made with the old technology, the
Old
old way,
technology.
and Moderna and the other one were made with the
Pfizer.
more
Yeah, it's called
modern way of
mRNA.
making them.
Yeah.
It's
So
called mRNA.
what about the AstraZeneca that they're using over in Europe?
That's
Is it-
mRNA too. Those
Is
are,
that-
I think the J&J one is the only of the older type of vaccines. That's
And what's their
I
efficacy
didn't
on that?
understand that whenever I first got mine. Sorry.
They're recommending, as I recall, they're recommending if you've gotten your J&J shot, even just like 3 months ago, you should get a booster. The resistance is not as good as the mRNA over the long term. So that's something to definitely take a look at. If you have the J&J shot, and if you had it over like 3 or 4 months ago, they were already recommending that you get a booster.
Yeah, they were saying the efficacy on that after the J&J second shot, it dramatically intensifies. Where it was lower than the Moderna or Pfizer to begin with, but they're saying that second dose puts you up with the equivalency of the other two.
That's why that's why it's really important for people with the J&J who got their one shot to get a booster shot as soon as they can, because most of it's already like months old, like 6 months old or so.
That would be interesting to find out if the people that are being hospitalized that have been vaccinated, which shot they took and how long ago.
I think from what I understand, the reason why you're seeing a lot of breakthrough infections in people, it's because of the fact that they don't have their boosters, and that the efficacy just goes down over time. Dopesick. I wanted to talk about Dopesick for a second. Dopesick is a show that's on Hulu. It's about the opioid crisis, right? If I'm not mistaken. And Danny Strong, a little bit of geek knowledge here. Danny Strong was on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He is the creator, showrunner for Dopesick. I've heard a couple of interviews with him, one on NPR recently. And yeah, I haven't seen it. I want to see it. It's on my list of things to see. And
there was a house party at in my neighborhood whenever I was a kid, and Oxycontin was something that was like somewhat new, at least to us being kids. And this whole party, a house party, they all took it and drank with it, and that the whole party was got extremely sick, and they had to call ambulances out. Like it was serious. Yeah.
I that's I can see that.
Well, after one of my wrecks, I think they was prescribing me like 12 of them a day.
Wow.
Oxycontin?
Oxycontin.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Who is it? Purdue Pharma, Pharmacology, Purdue Incorporated. They're the pharma company that basically, and that's what Dopesick is partly about. Well, mostly about. It's about how Purdue Pharma.
Well, I remember my doctor telling me too that these you can't get addicted to these.
And the thing is, right? And of course, there are lawsuits and everything, but and I'm going to say it again. So what's Andy talked about so far in the last 2 hours? He's talked about how you don't have to obey laws if you're on a jury. You don't have to obey the judge if you're on a jury. And I'm advocating. I'm not saying public whipping because that's wrong. But if you are in charge of making decisions for a company and those decisions are illegal or criminal, then maybe you should go to jail. And unless people go to jail for those kind of things, then you're not really creating a disincentive for bad behavior in society. People need to go to jail.
Well, and there should be a sliding scale too on fines, because what might be a fine for one person is a drop in the bucket for the next, and it's not no incentive to stop.
So think about it like this, right? So let's say you're a big pharmacology company, right? And you knowingly push oxys out onto an unsuspecting population. How many addicted people? How many dead people? How many lives are destroyed before your company just gets possessed by the government and sold off? I mean, I know that sounds like fucking socialism, But in some points, in some situations, the government should just seize the company and say, enough, it's done. We're not going to level fines on you. We're just going to take the company. We're going to sell it all off into little bits and pieces. And you're going to jail, by the way, too. Right? Now, that creates a disincentive from people acting like dickwads.
Something I've always
right, and that's why, like, Kyle Rittenhouse should have been charged with something, like some manslaughter or some kind of negligence, something.
What did you notice? Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, did you notice that one charge that he was obviously guilty of? The judge just threw it out.
Well, it was the gun charge, right? And that was because he didn't, from what I understand, if you get a loaner gun, it's not illegal.
Really?
It's not illegal if you get a loaner gun.
Have you changed that law now?
Oh, right.
And this is why I talk about jury nullification. Jury nullification is that, well, that's a stupid law.
But didn't they change that law already now?
I don't know.
After the fact?
Maybe they did. Well, yeah, after the fact, right? Yeah.
You know? Also, can he be brought up on federal charges now?
There's a possibility that the DOJ will look into that, yeah. And
I'm not an American. Don't they call that a violation of civil rights? And that's
not
a federal
double
law.
jeopardy.
Well, that is double jeopardy. It's official double jeopardy.
It's not because, you know, if it's a civil rights issue, then they're not trying him they're trying him specifically for civil rights.
Yeah.
Against the murders themselves. So they wouldn't be considered double jeopardy. But once again, I'm not a lawyer. This is how I just understand the law.
Well, Dave, I always thought it was a workaround, you know.
What's that?
Well, I always thought it was a workaround where the federal government in the U.S. found that places in the U.S. South where you kill a black guy for looking at a white woman, I think that was Emmett Till, they killed him for a non-crime.
Yeah.
And then the jury just said, oh, nope, not guilty, you're white.
Well, that's an example of jury nullification right there.
Yes.
Jury nullification.
And so they got charged with violating his civil rights.
Yeah.
And which is officially a different sort of crime and not double jeopardy. So it's not double jeopardy when they do it. But I can't say I disagree with the results.
Yeah.
Throw those fuckers in jail, in prison.
Well, this is interesting from Simply Secular Dave. I sat next to a table of 5 guys at work who all believe the COVID is real, but also believe that vaccines are a harmful scam. Quote, I know people who got super sick from it. Another part here, they said things like, I know a couple of guys who got super sick from it, and so many people have died from it. Well, people don't die. Not like so many people, no. And once again, when you talk about large numbers, right, and we've said it once and I'll say it again, even when you take aspirin, when you just have aspirin and you give it to 1 million people, 1 or 2 people may die from taking aspirin because they have an allergic reaction to it. You're going to get some kind of a sore in the arm or flu-like symptoms. Maybe I got knocked out after my 2nd shot of the Moderna vaccine, but people are not like piling up bodies from those folks from getting vaccinated. That just isn't happening.
It's crazy. Still, you know, how many people are dying from this every day?
Yep, it is crazy. And
everybody thinking we're on the downhill of it.
Yeah,
you know?
Maybe, you know, here's the thing is that I always like to talk about the other side of the mountain, right? I don't know if you've heard of this story about the Himalayan, you know, they're going up to Mount Everest, right? And you make it all the way up to the top, but because you don't time your descent properly, you die on the way back. So a lot of people just fucking think about going up the mountain, but they don't think about the other fucking side of the mountain. And you got to think about that. You got to think about, wow, you know, this peak may be, but you can still die or get really fucked up on that going down the other side of the mountain.
Is that from oxygen or what?
Well, what happened in this case, and this is a true case, is that they got hit by a storm. This, you know, the hiker in question, as well as his guide, They just spent too much time, dilly-dallied, to use the technical term, and they just started back down the mountain late, didn't make it back to base camp, had to set up their own little pot tent, and a storm hit, and they both died.
People can also get strokes because they're up so high and there's so low air pressure.
Yes.
And low oxygen. So your heart will beat heavier trying to push what oxygen you have around, and you can just stroke out.
Yep.
And of course, you're on a mountain, not exactly easy way to get down to get help.
Yeah. True that. You know what I really like being on this show is that, on my own show, by the way, but because I'm with you guys, I get to say crazy things that come into my head. It's like, why doesn't the government just just commandeer, seize companies that are obviously a bunch of fuckwads, right? Like Purdue Pharma. That I think that makes sense.
There is a time when they can do that. Do you remember that insurance company AIG that went bankrupt, and so did what's the other one? Lehman Brothers. It went belly up. The thing is that the government gets called on anyway. So what should happen is that instead of giving these guys money and then having them pay it back in drips and drops, they should force them to declare bankruptcy, take over the company, and say to all the shareholders, your total shares are now worth 10% of whatever value this company is, and we're going to sell it off once it's viable again. So it will.
So hang on, wait a minute. The people who have money invested as the shareholders, they only get 10% of what they invested into it.
There's a risk with any investment, Fucking shouldn't be rewarded every time.
With a company like AIG and like Lehman Brothers, they already went bankrupt. So their whatever stock or whatever value the company had, it already, the shareholders were already in the shitter.
But buying a stock is a risk at any time, and it should be treated as that risk and reward. I mean, on it, not just fucking bail fuckers out, And I'm I could have lost my ass, a couple times.
Oh, sure, dude. No, I know. I know. Believe me, I look at my portfolio. I don't talk about money a whole lot. I'm not a financial planner, but I look at things, and it's like, wow, that was a good move. That was a bad move. Right now, right now, it's like a temporary setback, let's say, for me. But temporary.
I bailed on everything about it was around 2019, just because Trump and the election and such. It was actually a good time to get the fuck out too.
Yeah.
On a lot of stuff I added in, so no regrets. I just don't want to be on paper anymore.
Did you have like coffee cans full of Bitcoin in the back?
No, it's real coin.
It's real coin. Okay, all right.
It's real coin. No, kids got some. Nick bought some Bitcoin quite a while back, and
they made a lot of money.
Yeah, smart kid though.
Yeah,
both my kids are fucking just brilliant.
So, what do you attribute that miracle to, John Hudson? This is where you can say "fuck you, Andy Hall."
Fuck you, Andy Hall.
What's up, Randolph? I see Randolph.
Okay, he's sucking on that pipe, and I'm getting turned on again.
What's up?
Randolph.
Oh, Randolph says, I upvoted the video.
No,
very kind.
Honestly, I don't know how my daughter turned out so fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Her mom's a piece of work, and y'all know me. But as a strong adult woman who makes wise choices, is compassionate, loving, caring, got her shit together.
Maybe you provided a stimulating environment. Interesting things going on. You're doing photography. Good T-shirts.
I'm being charged on 17 felonies. But that's what
At
it was.
least they were interesting felonies, though.
Oh, I would hope
I
so.
mean, yeah. Hey, by the way, would I ever, sort of thing? Has anyone here, aside from John Hudson, committed a crime and gotten away with it?
Have I?
And not don't incriminate yourselves, anyone.
I'm
Okay,
not
yeah,
saying
hang
what
on,
kind
wait a
of
minute.
crime.
Y'all just plead the fifth.
Yeah, I can't.
Drugs? What about drugs?
Can't say anything. What I have
Oh.
done is that I have. So I was in Amsterdam. This is back in the '90s, so it's a long time ago. And I was with my then fiance, now ex-wife. See what I did there? And she
Yeah.
wanted me to bring some hash back into London. We were taking a
What?
flight back, a little hot flight from Amsterdam to London. And it's like, why would you do that? It's why, and you're with me. It's one thing if you want to take the risk, right, on your own and Britain was in the EU at that time, but it's still, you're crossing borders, right? You're crossing borders. And I'm like, dude, you just can't do that. Just either do something with it, but don't bring it. I don't want to be involved. So more than once, I've been the person pumping the brakes on things.
I had friends that were over in Germany back in the 80s that were sending lots of hashish. Boy, those were the days. I can taste that Affy, then the Lebanese gold and bubble gum.
Delicious.
Making my mouth water just thinking about it.
I will tell you the story. When I was 18, I was stone drunk, like drunk. I was at a house party with a bunch of here it is. Black female atheist says, watching all the signs you ignored. That's right. So I was at a house party. Now I think I was 21. I was like, and I was one of the few people there who was of age. And so I stumble into this liquor store, grab like basically all the liquor that my two arms could grab. And
I will take all the liquor, please.
Everything, please. 5 of everything. And then, it's kind of hazy. But a couple of cops basically stopped me as I was stumbling off and asked me what I was doing with it. It's like, I didn't get arrested. And I think it might have been a white privilege situation. I didn't get arrested. I asked them if they wanted the liquor. Because I was so fucking trashed. I've had it. Yeah.
Did you want some?
Yeah, we could have some.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I went to jail in small town Utah, and there was 3 black guys that were in jail. They were arrested for having seeds. They found some seeds in the car, and I actually, you could smoke in jail at the time and I had a pack of Camels with me, but also had a
smoked Camel non-filters when I was smoking.
Yes, studs. But they failed to find the little bindle of cocaine that I had in my pocket.
Oh, wow.
And I had a couple of joints, and that the brothers are like, just like, motherfuckers bust us for seeds and they let you bring this shit in. But yeah, I handed them all a smoke, and I'm like, let's get rid of this and lit up the doobies, dump the rails on the table or the bench, and fuck, we made it go away. I was out on OR, and them guys were still in there. It was like, but yeah, white privilege.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, them guys, they were really great guys. I thought that was nice as hell.
And for fucking seeds, they
got shooken down, and yeah, and only they kept them in there because of color.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I used to do this thing with a friend where we would create profiles of women on websites, dating websites, and I had this one girl that I absolutely loved. She was fake, and what happened is they would come to the website, try and contact her, and she would say, "Actually, I've moved on from this website, but I'm over here now." And then they would go to that website, and after signing up for a free website, registration is free, everything's free, but you have to sign in with using your credit card to make sure you're an adult.
Is this a
And for
scam?
every
Because this smells like a scam.
Oh, it is. So then, if they signed up, I would get $40, right? So it was basically this sort of bait and switch, and these gomers would find themselves signed up for this new website that would take $6 out of their MasterCard or Visa every other month or something like that.
Okay.
And
So two things, well, there's three things. One, I swear to my fictitious God, I'm going to bring up my yellow and red cards up and downstairs. So that might be a yellow card about this is what I did as a scam. So that's one thing. I got to bring up my yellow and red cards.
yes,
Two, very moral, shaky territory there, Big Zebra.
oh no, it's not shaky at all. I think it's definitely wrong.
Okay.
But I did make money for quite a while, and it was good because I'm fucked up. I've got 2 sleep disorders. What else am I going to do with my time? And in my defense, I would like to point out that I was taking a little bit of money, I was getting a $40 fee, and these guys were paying a little bit of money, and it was just guys who would be at their computer masturbating anyway.
Okay, I like your rationalization.
Yes,
but I'm
yes,
sure
I'm
that you're
retarded.
better now, and you don't do things like that.
No,
right?
but only because they're on to me,
Okay.
so I can't do it anymore. It's a shame. John Hudson approves. Thank you, John. Tobin and Dr. Kennard, not so much.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have to tell you.
But it wasn't a crime. Technically, it was just naughty.
As I'm going to put on my socialist hat for a minute here, and say, yeah, that sounds like some kind of scam. That's
No, it's naughty. It's not a scam. I didn't try to sell them something that did not exist because there are girls at this website, and
But
Oh,
a
I
pickpocket
did ask them
doesn't
to
tell me
sign
that
up.
he's taking my wallet out of my back pocket either.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's still taking from me.
I don't know. All I can tell you is that your sense of moral disapproval vanishes when a check arrives in the mail and you do a little dance. Do a
Well,
little dance.
I
make a
will be
little
honest
love,
with you. I
Get down
will be-
tonight.
There have been times that I have just said no to money, and obviously I don't have a lot of money, and I've never had a lot of money. But and anyone who has heard my stories have probably been amazed at how well I've been able to say no to sex, yeah, or just shot myself in the dick basically when it comes to having sex with somebody else. And how many times I've just walked away from money because I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to make my money the way I'm going to make my money and the way that I want to do it. And I know it sounds puerile. I know it sounds childish, but it's like I am going to do it under my terms. And that's probably why I do comedy. I'm going to do.
I want to do it legitimately. You know, I don't want to have some reason for somebody to come and take theirs back or something.
Well, I want
effect.
and I don't want to sound like a Baptist atheist, right? Because there's a certain aspect of me that's like, you know, a Baptist atheist in that kind of weird, kind of intense way. But yeah, I've walked away from money before on several different occasions, and I've been like, yeah, that's because I don't want to make my money that way.
So you left that money orphaned. It was
Right on the
just sitting
table, just right on the table, and it's like, no, I'm not. I'm my way.
Okay.
I'm uninterested. You know, I'm going to be dead. I'm going to be dead in like 30, 40 years, and having that extra cash in my pocket, I don't know. Yeah. You know, I could be dead tomorrow. On the large scale of things, yeah, I want to live my life the way I want to live my life. And so that means, yeah, saying no to money a gaggle of times that I could have made.
And from what I understand, you can't take it with you either.
That's what I hear. Yeah.
I'm working on it though.
Yeah. Well, if you can figure it out, then go ahead. You know, if you can, then go ahead. Yeah.
No, I don't think I'll find a solution to that problem.
Well, I've come to the conclusion, the only thing that you ever own in this life is what you consume.
Yeah.
You know, that's the only thing that goes out the door with you. It's what you consume. So all the good meals, all the good sex, all the good times you've had, you own that shit. Everything else is on lease for life.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend who recently committed suicide, he was in agonizing pain all the time. At one point, maybe a couple of months before he left, he asked me, "What do you think happens after we die?" And I used a phrase sort of common to us atheists. I said that it'll be, after you die, will be exactly the same as the time before you were born.
Yeah.
In feeling and in character. And he seemed reasonably happy with that.
Well, that's the thing, right? In situations like that, when you're with someone who's suffering, right? You know, like my biological mom, nice woman, great woman. I strikes me as a religious woman. You know, we don't talk about the big atheism a whole lot, or at all, and that's fine. You know, when I've been working with people with disabilities, I don't take out my big A atheism and wave it around or anything like that, because it's not the proper situation, and it's yeah. So even though I do talk about atheism quite a bit, obviously I talk a lot about being a progressive quite a bit. There are situations that it's just counterproductive. You know, it doesn't help the other person, but it's tough to determine when those situations are.
Yeah, you don't want to be an evangelicalist where you just try to spread the good word about atheism everywhere until everyone starts vomiting.
Right. Right. Yeah. You just want to do it on your YouTube channel and your blog and your Twitter account and your Facebook. Yeah. As long as you do it with a smile, I guess that helps, right?
Yeah, very low key. You know,
very low key. Indeed.
Yeah. If that's it, I'm going to go listen to Tobin's new song now.
Go listen to his song. Yeah, I'll just shit around with this. Shoot the shit for a little bit longer, but yeah, you should all listen. Tobin, you can throw the link in the chat if you want to, brother.
Oh, I'll do that right now.
Awesome. Yeah, one of you guys can. Yeah.
It's
Tobin's stuff is so much fun. I like it.
Yeah.
Thank y'all so much.
And then did you see Sammy singing is 420 Anti-Theist?
I don't know if I've seen that. Is it on?
That's the one with the banana suit, right?
Yeah.
Like on the cover? Yeah.
We
got something we're working on too.
And then he does Lake Drive too. Sammy's got a great voice.
He does have a good voice.
It reminds me of like Roger Waters, and then every new wave band in the 80s too.
So Tobin, I just want to say that I did get your message on Messenger, and after the show, I'm gonna do two things. I'm gonna email bigzebra.com, and I'm gonna take a look and see what I think about the bit that you sent me. And
awesome.
I'll take a look at that. Yeah.
I'll have to jump back into my emails too, because I couldn't get into it the other day. But then you said you had sent something, you had done something wrong, Tobin, that didn't allow me to be into it. Because I fucked around trying to get into the email the one day, and it wouldn't allow me to play it.
Right.
So I got to go back and revisit that too.
It was on my end. I did not. I had sent it to you, but I have to give permission or on the Google Drive thing.
I'll check it out.
Cool.
I'm still trying to figure some of that stuff out.
I'm really illiterate when it comes to computers.
Yeah.
Among many other things, but I try.
Yep. Well, that's it. I know that when I have to learn something new, which it does happen occasionally when it comes to tech, I do get really excited when I learn something. I get like, oh, there's a little kind of like simian light that goes on in the back of my head that goes something like, oh, I figured out how to wash the potato in the water, and now I feel that that kind of light. So yeah,
I can build any house, build you anything interior wise. Any motor that doesn't have a bunch of electronic to it, I'm great with old motors. I can make them go really fast. But it's just like anything that's electronic, I'm not so good at. I've always had that fear of electrical.
electrocuting yourself. That's
Not
really
so much that. Maybe, I don't know.
I know a guy I was working with when I was managing a day hab, so a place where people with brain injuries come in during the day. And this guy, he got electrocuted when he was working on a pole.
Lineman.
Lineman. Stopped his heart. He fell, hit the ground, and this is not totally uncommon. It restarted his heart, and he got a brain injury from it and everything. But he lived. It's electricity is real.
Yeah, my older brother is a lineman.
A lineman for the county? Sorry, I asked if he was a lineman for the county. I'm really sorry. That was a terrible joke.
Was that a joke? It felt like
well, it's from a song. He was a
lineman for the county.
Was that Johnny Cash?
No, Glenn Campbell.
Oh, Glenn Campbell.
Maybe it's just too old. It's just too old of a joke. The reference is just too old.
Well, that's the thing. I have to tell you, whenever I see my kids, I try to get a little better understanding about what's going on with the zeitgeist in terms of, and so I try my best.
That's like my brother says, we have linemen because firefighters need heroes. It's a fucking dangerous sport, and he's still out. He's still out doing it. 45 years into the business.
That's impressive. Yeah.
Still climbs poles.
Well, that is doubly impressive. Yeah, going up poles. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that's for me.
It's crazy watching him come down a pole. He can do it like in 3 steps, like I tried working with him in my youth, and I started to slip. I grabbed the fucking pole. I got slivers into my chin, into my chest. It was like, fuck, I'm done. I lasted about maybe 10 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't hug the pole when you're going down.
Don't hug the pole, man. Yeah. Yeah.
But I guess you could fall and die that way too,
Oh yeah.
Could be worse, than pulling slivers out of your face for a month.
How do those people manage when they have traumatic brain injury? Do they get some percentage of recovery back, or
they typically depend? Well, it depends on what kind of brain injury they get, of course, and how severe it is. So, I was working with this. It varies. I was working with this guy who used to be, and this is like years ago, so I'm not telling, and I'm not using names. But there was a guy who was working in, everyone in my area has a Whitey Bulger story, right? Just to let you know, if you come to the
Whitey Bulger.
Yeah, everyone has a Whitey Bulger story. And so I was working with a guy who was part of Whitey Bulger's group back in the day. He'd been, incapacitated since then. And he was able to live a relatively, he was impaired, but walked, talked, enjoyed his life. There was, people in car accidents, though, that were stuck in wheelchairs for the rest of their lives. That tragic stuff. So it really varies.
Yeah.
everyone has a Whitey Bulger story if you're a certain age. And if you're younger, then typically you'll tell the story that your mom told you or your dad told you about Whitey Bulger.
Very dangerous dude.
Oh, yeah.
Just amazing. I just glad I never met him.
Yeah.
I'm not in the right part of the continent for that anyway.
Yep. Simply Secular Dave, who I've heard has a dangerous, or what some people would consider a dangerous job. Lots of us have jobs where we have to do our best to mitigate dangers and hazards. Some people don't get paid very well. This is true, very well for the risk. And some work in places where safety is not the primary concern. All that is true. Yeah.
It's crazy because there's some jobs that you have more risk, but you're getting paid less than a cashier at some, small convenience store or something. It makes it really
When I
not
was
very.
I was doing home health care 5 months ago maybe, and not getting paid a whole lot, but it was hard work and it was messy work. The job that I have now pays me a bit more and far less risk, far less, no contact with human stuff, but yeah, you would think that the more crap you have to handle, the more you would get paid, right? The more the danger. But you look at these EMTs, they get paid like $15 an hour or something like that.
What? No.
I didn't know that.
You don't? Yes, dude. Okay, I'm going to Google this right now. Average.
Yeah, they get paid chicken shit wages. It's like $15 an hour.
Thank you, John Hudson. So ZipRecruiter, right here. First thing I'm looking at. ZipRecruiter, EMT, US, $24,000 to $36,000 a year.
Oh my goodness. Whoa.
Now that's different from a paramedic for the fire department. If you have a choice of either getting a paramedic from the local fire department or an EMT, always go with the paramedic from the fire department because it's just different quality. Here's another. This is after just questioning Googling the question, how much EMTs get paid. People also ask, why are EMTs paid so little? And here it is. A lot of places that hire EMTs are run by private for-profit companies, and that system keeps the wages low. Mm-hmm. Thank you, fucking late-stage capitalism. Yeah. It just fucking burns.
Ass backwards world. What the?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
All right, fellas, I'm going to sign off. It's been real.
Okay, dude.
It's been absolutely real. Thank you so much.
Bro.
Yeah. See you tomorrow, man.
Bye.
Bye. Scapegoat Scary. It says, just thought I'd let you know that notifications failed. That's why I didn't get you live. They're not sending it. Maybe because it was about Kyle Rittenhouse. Maybe it had something in the description of. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's easy to jump to conspiracy theories, and I don't want to do that. But it is our basic human nature to jump to conspiracy.
Yeah, but it makes you wonder, though.
Makes you wonder. Makes me wonder.
It just because, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was particularly kind of crazy stuff. Not crazy, but controversial stuff. I took a look on Bo the Fifth Column's channel, and I don't think he talked about the verdict at all. But I'm not sure. I want to take another look. But he didn't talk about it. Jimmy Snow, I listened through half of his 20-minute video about it, and I saw a couple of other people's videos. But I thought, no one's talking about, jury nullification, and you guys probably can't even go on a jury now too because you've heard about it. Just don't tell people. Well, John Hudson, no one's putting you on a jury.
I can't. But I have been on 2 juries before.
Oh, yeah.
Once they voted me in as the fucking foreman, and I went in there as radical as I could fucking be, you know, and still got chose. And then the people like, this guy should be the foreman. And the other guy seconds it. Next thing I know, I'm foreman of the jury.
Meanwhile, and it was John Hudson's
a really weird case too, because it was a wire fraud and then also a stalking on this guy. Well, we found him guilty on the wire fraud, and they the rest of the jury was about getting him on this stalking. And I'm like, we can't. I can't vote that with conscience. You know, there is doubt in my mind that this was a stalking, you know.
Yeah.
And everybody else changed their mind because they wanted to get the fuck out of there. And they knew I wasn't gonna have it for him. The crime, when there's a crime, I mean, it was black and white. The wire fraud was there, you know. The stalking, there was questionable doubt in my mind on it, and everybody else was like, you know, let's vote it so get the fuck out of here. I'm like, I'm not.
That's very 12. I don't know if anyone has seen the movie 12 Angry Men or seen a reproduction of that, but that is, yeah, there's that dynamic in 12 Angry Men. That's a movie I've seen, that one, right, about just wanting to go the fuck home, right?
Right.
Yeah. On that note, everyone, this has been a great show. Not because of my participation, because of your participation, right? Take care. Good thing seeing you, Tobin Templeman, John Hudson, Shamla Hamala, to everyone out there. And we'll see you tomorrow.